House Speaker Mike Johnson goes into the spider's web of Caitlin Collins to answer the tough questions about the shutdown and the concerns of Americans. Take a listen.
And of course, right now, we're here on Capitol Hill. The government shutdown is very much still underway. One question I think a lot of people have tonight is how long they should be prepared for this to go on for. In your view, do you think the American people should be prepared for this shutdown to last into November?
Wait, what? What kind of question is that? The Republicans voted yes for the government to stay open. That should be a question for the Democrat Party.
You know, the only person who can answer that question is Chuck Schumer and his Democrat colleagues in the Senate. They've now voted a dozen times to keep the government closed. And this is really important, Caitlin. Today, there was a big development on Capitol Hill. The second highest ranked House Democrat in leadership, Whip Catherine Clark, admitted openly that they have shut the government down and that they are using hardworking American families as leverage for what? So that they can show a fight against Trump and also so that they can restore $200 billion in free health care paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens. Yes, that's in their bill. And it's just part of the $1.5 trillion that they have demanded to spend. We're not going to do that. They know we're not going to do that. And she said in her own words today, quote, "We know that families will suffer, but this is only one of the leverage times that we have." She said that in her own words, and it was pretty shocking today to hear them say that. They usually don't say the quiet parts out loud.
You're saying Democrats are making that argument, talking about what Catherine Clark said today.
CNN always have clips, aka receipts, to back up their argument to get you caught up in that web. But for some reason this time, they don't have that video. But because I have love for you guys, I got that for you. Take a listen.
No responsibility on the Democrats. Or at least you don't think that the public will perceive that the Democrats are responsible.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leverage times we have. It is an inflection point in this budget process.
You're saying Democrats are making that argument, talking about what Catherine Clark said today. I do want you to listen. We've heard an argument similar to that one before.
Why shouldn't we be trying to force this government shutdown fight to get something out of it that's good for the American people?
How else are you going to get moderates to vote for spending cuts if they're not up against the fact that they need to pass these things to get out of a shutdown themselves?
What else good can come down from shutdowns?
You got to be very careful with Caitlin Collins, aka Caroline Levitt's nemesis. She'll get you tangled up in her web, and then she'll try to squeeze the life out of you. See, she's a beauty, and that's what gets you caught up, because you'll let your guard down. She didn't have that video of Caitlin Clark, but she did have the videos of all those Republicans.
That was the president just the other day, but Russ Vought and J.D. Vance before. I mean, some people might look at that and say, well, how is what Democrats are doing now different than what Republicans have argued before?
It's very different. Those were different times and different circumstances. Let me explain why. This is the first time in history that any party has chosen to close the government down on a clean CR. In previous shutdown battles, you had a lot of different competing priorities, and you had the party who was engaging in the shutdown making demands and adding their partisan priorities to the CR itself. We didn't do that, Caitlin. We have a totally clean, totally nonpartisan, good faith CR. We passed it 33 days ago, and they have kept the government shut down because they refused to do it. It's the first time this has ever happened in history, and it's very audacious. We don't know when the end of this is. Only the Democrats in the Senate can answer that question, and I pray that there's at least 5 centrist Democrats left who will give up this gambit, do the right thing, and get the government open, because real people really are suffering because of this.
Now, Mike Johnson gave a really knowledgeable answer to those videos about how this shutdown is different from the other shutdown. And with Caitlin Collins, if she agrees with your opinion, she's going to try to be sweet, and then she's going to try to reel you back in and throw you for another curveball. Take a listen.
Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville said that if he thinks if President Trump got involved here, he could move this. We heard the similar sentiment from Jeff Van Drew, the Republican House member. He said we absolutely need the president involved. If we're hearing Republicans saying that, and even Democrats like Chuck Schumer saying that Trump's got to get involved, should the president be directly involved here?
The president was directly involved. Remember, before this whole thing began, a few days before the shutdown began and that deadline hit us, the president invited Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries into the Oval Office. I was there, Leader John Thune was there in the Senate, and the president tried to negotiate with them. He tried to appeal to their common sense and asked them to do the right thing, and he was rebuffed. So the president has said he's anxious and willing to sit down with them and talk about any issue under the sun, but they have to reopen the government first and not hold the American people hostage. Because, Caitlin, that's what's happening right now. You have troops on the verge of not being paid. You have air traffic controllers who are not being paid, Border Patrol agents, TSA agents. You have nutrition services to people in need. You have Veterans Health Services. All these things are suspended because the Democrats are playing games right now, and it's a really dangerous thing to do.
We heard from one of your members today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wrote this morning that on y'all's GOP conference call, she said Speaker Johnson said he has ideas and pages of policy, but did not say a single policy plan. She said, I find it unacceptable that Republicans are sitting on the sidelines doing nothing to fix this healthcare disaster that is leading many Americans into financial ruin. That's her words. She says you're sitting on the sidelines. What's your response to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Now you see, when he answered that question about the CR and the difference between that shutdown and this shutdown, she didn't have a follow-up question because she agreed with him. Because Caitlin will never let you off the hook if she doesn't agree with you. She come off with sweetness, and then she gonna give you venom. This time she's coming at him with different Republican arguments against why he believes the Democrats have shut down the government.
Well, bless her heart. That's an absurd statement. Obviously, these conference calls are monitored by media, so we're not going to have actual strategy discussions on a line where you have hundreds of people listening in, because it would be reported on the front page. We have been working on this for a long time. We worked on it today. We've been working on it every day. Marjorie is not here in Washington. She's not on the committees of jurisdiction, and she's not involved in those specific discussions, but she will be soon because they'll be related to all the House Republicans. This was always going to be a discussion and a debate that was going to be held in bipartisan fashion, by the way, in the month of October and November. We know that the end of the year is the end of those COVID-era subsidies, and there's real reforms that have to be made if they're going to be extended. The Democrats knew that, the Republicans knew that, and it was always on the table for discussion. They have made that a red herring issue for now, again, because they want to show a fight against Trump. This is purely about Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in New York trying to avoid a challenge from a Marxist candidate in their next re-election cycles. 100%. That's why they're doing a 180-degree turn and doing exactly the opposite of what they did as recently as March of this year.
Remember what I said about Caitlin. If she has a follow-up question to it, she's not believing you. If she moves on, she's setting you up for the next question. Either way, sweetness and then venom.
Speaker, she's saying that the Republicans aren't doing anything to address the healthcare issue here that Democrats are arguing about. Are you saying that there is a Republican plan and you're just not talking about it?
No, I'm saying there's lots of discussion about it, but we don't relay it on a conference call with hundreds of people listening in. We have many ideas on how to bring down the cost of healthcare, to continue to do that, and we've already demonstrated it in the Working Families Tax Cut. We had real reforms to Medicaid that you and I have discussed that have brought down the cost and saved about $185 billion for taxpayers and made the program stronger for the people that actually rely upon them, because we got ineligible enrollees off the program. We have many ideas like that to bring down the cost of healthcare and increase access and quality of care. And all that will be rolled out in the days ahead. We have plenty of time to do it. It was always going to be done at the last quarter of the year. And that's what we're waiting on. And that's why we need the Democrats in the Senate to stop this crazy gambit, do the right thing, and reopen the government so we can finish all that work.
But if you have ideas and you have plans, why not have that out there to talk about in the public so the people can hear that debate happening? I mean, you could have committees in session right now.
They will, Kate.
Talking about this.
She came back with another follow-up question to the question she asked in the beginning. She believes she now got Mike Johnson in her web, and now she's going to try to squeeze the life out of him. Let's see how Mike Johnson handles this.
I think the question is...
Yeah, we need to get back to regular session so we can. No, we're not going to allow Chuck Schumer to play selfish political games and hold the American people hostage. We will not negotiate with legislative terrorists. We're not going to let them do that. We can't. We owe it to the people to get this government operating again. Republicans have now voted 12 or 13 times, counting the House and Senate, 13 times to open the government, and the Democrats have voted 13 times to close it down. It is wrong. There's no reason for it, and they can't even tell you tonight what it is they're demanding, except for $1.5 trillion in new spending, $200 billion for illegal aliens to get health care. They want to send billions of dollars overseas for wasteful foreign aid programs and all sorts of other stuff.
And we've gone back and forth on, you and I have, on what Democrats want here and whether or not that's health care for people who are in the country illegally, obviously. But I think the question is on the health care plan, to Marjorie Taylor Greene's point, is if the government reopened tonight, would Republicans have a plan to address the Obamacare subsidy?
Yeah.
This is the fourth time Caitlin Collins has came at him again about the first question she asked about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Mike Johnson's got to be very careful how he handles Caitlin Collins, because she thinks she's got him.
Yes, we do. We have proposals to, we can have that ready immediately. Yes. Yeah, because here's the thing. We work in a deliberative public body, and we have hundreds of members. It's a very complicated, very complex issue that requires a long time to build consensus around. We have ideas on the table, and the whole process of the legislative body is to build consensus around it. That's why we have to do that, and that's what we've been planning to do all along. It was never possible or appropriate to have this decided on a CR, a simple stopgap funding measure for 7 weeks, a clean continuing resolution. The Democrats know that, and they are not being truthful about it. And take Whip Clark's words for it. They shut the government down, and they're using hardworking American families who she says will suffer, and they know it, as leverage for this political game.
If it takes a long time to build consensus, why not bring the House back to talk about the plan that you say you have to fix healthcare?
Because the House has done its job. The House passed the CR. We did it over a month ago. And we need Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to do what they have always done. They did it 13 times during the Biden administration, 13 times. And Chuck Schumer did it most recently 7 or 8 months ago in March of this year. And he gave an impassioned speech on the floor and said, that's the only possible outcome. You could never possibly shut the government down because it would be dangerous and it would hurt real Americans. Well, he was right then. He is not being honest now.
Democrats about their past statements, but I think some people might listen to that and say, yes, the House passed the CR, but then you left town, and the House could come back and work on these other issues while the Senate deals with how they're trying to reopen the government. No.
Now she thinks she's got him. She's trying to choke the life out of him. She doesn't want to hear anything about a CR. She don't believe he got a plan, and now she's going to continue to hammer him. Mike Johnson's got to stick to the topic of they didn't sign a clean CR, and until they sign a clean CR, we're not bringing them back.
No, well, it would allow Chuck Schumer and the Democrats more time to impose more pain on the American people. We've done our work. Right now, the House Republicans are in their districts doing extraordinarily important work by helping their constituents navigate the chaos that is being created by the Democrat shutdown. They're trying to help their rural hospitals access the funds that we got signed into law July 4th before the Democrats try to claw it back. That's one of their counter proposals as well. $50 billion they want to pull from rural hospitals. It would hurt a lot of Americans, and they're trying to help small business owners and young women who rely on the women, infants, and children nutrition programs. They're trying to help their veterans who can't access health services right now, and constituents who have all sorts of problems because all these federal programs have been shut down because of these political games. That's what the House Republicans are doing right now. They're working for their constituents, and that's really, really valuable stuff right now.
Yeah, and House Democrats will argue, well, we wanted more in funding for the rural hospitals, $137 billion, I believe. But can I ask you, Speaker Johnson?
Well, then why do they want to claw it back? Why did they file the counter proposal to claw the money back? You should be asking them these tough questions because it's serious stuff.
Bottom line is, Mike Johnson is basically saying he's not bringing the Republicans back. It's a waste of time. There's a clean CR. on the table. There's nothing in there with no tricks in there at all. They done signed this before. They signed the CR. We can open the government back up and then we can negotiate. The problem is no one believes either party at this point. The only way we're going to know who's telling the truth is when they sign the CR. Because the Republicans are saying they signed the CR, we're going to negotiate. The Democrats are saying if we sign the CR, they're not going to negotiate. So we got to keep the government shut down. And that's what's keeping the government shut down. There's no trust. Let me know what you guys think. Do you feel House Speaker Mike Johnson handled himself well or poorly in answering the questions about the shutdown with one of CNN's top commentators? Like, comment, subscribe. Follow God, not culture.